Hey, welcome back to another episode of Between the Notes podcast. I just literally got home from a gig, and we're kind of talking a little bit about that today, right? Like, what I think we've talked a lot about what life on the road is like, and hopefully tried to offer some encouraging advice for, I don't know, when you're looking for hotels, looking for flights, looking for how to live life in that sort of life of solitude, separated from your family, or how to deal and juggle when you do bring your family. But today, I thought it would be fun to talk a little bit about what it's like when we jump back into, let's use huge air quotes here, like normalcy,
Normal,
right?
Yeah, right.
Because for me, for the last, 6 days, I was living in Raleigh, North Carolina, in a gorgeous hotel, singing with a wonderful symphony, with the North Carolina Symphony, having a great time with the Messiah, and I mean, I'll spare the details, but literally as as I landed, I got a text from my daughter asking me to come pick her up from school, that she wasn't feeling well. And then I got a call from my wife. Hey, have you heard from our daughter? I was like, yeah, okay. So we had to jump on the fly and make a doctor's appointment. I had to pick up my daughter from school. Granted, I woke up at 4:30 this morning Eastern time, so 3:30 Central.
Yep.
And it's just part of the thing, right? I mean, it's like,
Yeah, I mean,
the world doesn't stop when you're away. Let's just say that.
the world doesn't stop you when you're away, and it's a very different life. I mean, so similarly to what you're talking about. I mean, I kind of experienced this a little bit when I was home last week for Thanksgiving, right? So I've been up here, trudging away, 19 students a week plus my private students and New York trips and all this kind of stuff.
Well, and for people that don't or have forgotten, don't know, whatever,
sure.
You're teaching in Bloomington, Indiana by yourself while your family still lives in New Orleans.
Yes, thank you for that. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
That is a little Cliff Notes.
A little addendum.
But yeah, so the point is that I'm spending a lot of time by myself, like you are when you're on a gig, and I'm on a gig of sorts, but
Sure.
but kind of different. But anyway, so the point being is I went back for our eldest daughter's birthday, and her birthday party was going to be on that Friday night and then Saturday. And it was great. It was wonderful to be back. When we were on vacation this summer, one of the things that Ava said that she really wanted was Daddy to be home for her birthday one year.
Of course, that's
because
right.
It always, it tends to be around Thanksgiving. But sometimes it's not quite close enough to Thanksgiving for me to make it there. So this year I was able to do that. And so it was great. And I got up early, probably 6:30, went to the grocery, got eggs and bacon and hash browns and Eggo waffles, and did all this and had it all cooked for when they woke up, and it was super fun. But then the next day, that was the Saturday morning, and then that day we were going to have people come over, and then we were grilling and doing all this kind of stuff. And I just was like, I've been in New York the week before. I taught a lot of lessons here. The point being is my back started to really give me some trouble.
Oh, wow.
And then also the other thing that would be an obvious difference between my apartment here and my house in New Orleans would be the level of noise, right? So,
Yeah,
my apartment,
it was rather quiet in my hotel room when I was there by myself.
And that's a big part of the difference, right? Because the environment is so much more. We've got our dog, but we have two girls. Millie, might want to fight with you guys, but she can't fight with the wall. Well, Ava and Anna can fight with themselves and the wall and their mother, and the dog is in the way. I'm trying to play volleyball, and I'm just like, guys, Daddy needs to chill. Like, this is, I'm busting my butt. I've never taught so many lessons in my life over the course of a week, to be quite honest with you. And it's super fun. But, sitting at the piano bench, which is why I've started, as per your suggestion, to use my desk chair over there by the piano for, especially when I'm playing makeup lessons. So I don't have a pianist coming in. I'm just playing myself.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think the noise and the responsibility. I mean, we go from having, kind of a lot of time on our hands, especially once the show opens,
Oh yeah.
to then just like what you're saying, okay, got to get her to school, got to get the groceries, got to, go to the Dollar Tree, got to go get the
Oh yeah.
car oil
That's
changed.
right.
You know what I mean? It's like
It's
there's
all the
always
stuff.
normal stuff that I remember when I was in my career, especially when we were in Europe and, we didn't have a car over there, when, you're just doing a lot of like, it's very much New York City kind of living,
Right.
city
Walking
life.
a lot and
Yeah.
carrying the
And
strollers or the buggy or whatever.
all this
trying
kind of
to, yeah.
stuff. And you don't go, I mean, there, there are super Walmart type things like that over there, but for the most part, you go into like a corner grocery to get the food for tonight,
Right.
right? You're not buying for the week like we do over here. And so it's just a completely different kind of feel, but
It's a different
I love
vibe,
them
for sure.
both. But it's nice to have that change. What other things do you find kind of tricky when you come back?
Well, I mean, all of the little things that you don't think about, right? So
Yeah.
when you get there, you're sleeping on a different bed, and maybe for the first 1 or 2 or 3 nights, you're like, ugh. But then you kind of get used to it, or at least
Yeah.
I do. Like you kind
Yeah,
of get
no,
used to
totally.
whatever you're sleeping on. So then when you come back, you kind of have, oh, right. I mean, sometimes it's like really great that you're back
Sure.
in your own bed. I don't know if it's ever not, but you've just gotten used to a totally different bed. And so
course.
there's that. It sounds silly to talk about maybe, but it's certainly one of the things that pops into my head is like a different thing. And again, depending on the city that you're in, if you get used to that sort of walking around downtown vibe, and then you come back to suburbia, that's where we live. So you're driving everywhere and you're like, oh yeah, right. Okay. I got to run that errand, but I got to drive. And sometimes as silly as it seems, like, oh, I got to remember what I'm doing, where I'm at, how to get from point A to point B. But
right. Is it going to be easy to park?
Yeah, exactly.
All these things that are just like,
Yeah, it's different. It's totally different. One of the things that I thought about too on this gig was like, I haven't done an oratorio gig in a while. And
yeah,
early on in my career, I did a lot of oratorio, and it was really balanced with the opera that I was doing. And so it didn't even become like a thing that I was overwhelmed by or missed, or, you know what I mean? And for that matter, I was doing a lot of recitals too early on in my career.
Sure.
But as the opera stuff picked up, it became much more about opera. And for whatever reason, since COVID, maybe, of course I say this and I'm like, oh yeah, I did one last year. But but to my mind, I haven't like been on a gig where I've just done an oratorio concert where, you show up, you do a little rehearsal, and then a couple of days of rehearsal, and you do your performances. It's a very short gig with very limited rehearsal. Yet at the same time, I mean, we had 10 a.m. rehearsals every day we were there.
Yeah.
So I flew in on Wednesday night. Thursday morning, we had rehearsal from 10 to 2, I think. Then we had another rehearsal that evening from 7 to 9 or something.
Yeah.
And then the following day, we had another rehearsal at 10 a.m. And then we had the performances that night. So it was really quick. It was just sort of like Thursday rehearsal, and then Friday morning rehearsal, and then Friday night performance, Saturday afternoon performance, Sunday afternoon performance.
Yeah.
So once we got past opening night, then it was like, oh, all I have to do is sing the show on Thursday, the matinee on Saturday afternoon, and then I got to sing another one on Sunday afternoon.
Right.
But that's a different rehearsal process than 6 weeks for a new production of rehearsal or whatever it might be for opera, where you feel like, I don't know, you're just able to kind of immediately get the vibe with the conductor and get the vibe with the rest of the cast. And, on an oratorio, it's a little bit more just you and the conductor and the band, and finding that vibe. I don't know. Did you do much oratorio in your career?
Yeah, I mean, yes and no. I mean, kind of enough. I'd say the main things were like Verdi Requiems, things like that, Beethoven 9.
I never heard you sing that In Jamis. I love that.
Oh yeah, I might have a recording of it somewhere. I don't know. I have to think about it, but I was thinking about it the other day actually. But yeah, that I did a lot, and that's tricky because it's just so long. Like everybody's singing all the time, and there's a lot of very chromatic
acapella stuff.
Acapella, exactly. That if the tuning is a little bit, and people are just like, and it's all of course
It's
in the
tricky.
yeah, it's all, of course all in the like tessa passaggio and like all this tricky tessitura where it's like high for the tenor and low for
No
the
kidding.
mezzo and all this kind of stuff. But yeah, I lived with Messiah for a long time, especially when I was a young
But didn't you
singer.
tell the story when you auditioned for Ken Benson back in the day? Didn't you use that? Was that part of that story?
It was.
Yeah.
It was.
Where you forgot the words or something?
I forgot to come in. Yeah, exactly. And again,
So good.
as I said before, I had sung this to get into
800
college.
times. Right.
And this was 6 years later. And I had it memorized 6 years before for the college auditions. So this just goes to show you like what nerves can do if you're really, really nervous on something like that. But then, I was able to do it a little bit later when, so right after I would have finished college, so probably around 2001, 2002.
Yeah.
Something like that. I was able to sing the Messiah solos with the Louisiana Philharmonic Orchestra, and my teacher Phil Fraunmeyer at the time was singing the low voice bass baritone part, and his wife was singing the soprano part. So it was really wonderful. I remember feeling like, man, I really achieved something to be able to sing next to my voice teacher and his wife, and they're really proud of me, and it was great. I just remember though, it's a really tricky thing for the tenor because you start the thing off and then you essentially sit there for the whole rest of the first part.
I mean, it was crazy. In this particular version that we did this past weekend, the tenor only sang Comfort Ye and Every Valley, and then the recit in the second half.
Not Thou Shalt Break Them, or
no, they cut that. They cut that. He literally just sang two things. Oh, well, three things.
I could have sang that gig. Come on, guys. Give me a holla, guys. Come on. I got the stamina for that.
Easy on this gig.
Yeah,
and of course, the soprano has to sit there in the first part forever before she gets to sing anything. But yeah, it's always tricky. I remember doing Brahms' Requiem. The soprano has to sit there forever before she sings her first thing. And then it has to be this like amazing ethereal...
Yeah.
Right. It's
right.
It's tricky. It's tricky.
Yeah. I did a little bit of Mendelssohn's Elijah.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
If With All Your Hearts, which is a wonderful tenor aria.
I always thought that the solos in Mendelssohn's Elijah was like the arias were great, and then the choruses were like,
yeah. I would agree with that. I think.
Yeah. That's a role that I love to sing too. Obviously.
It's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I mean, I guess and then Beethoven 9 and Verdi Requiem, and then I did this Berlioz Grand Mass of the Dead. Essentially, it's a Requiem mass, but
yeah.
That's another one where the only you only have one thing to sing, but it's about as hard as you can imagine.
I'm sure.
Being. Because it's Berlioz and it's in the stratosphere and it's sustained and hard. I sang it in Paris and I sang it in Vienna somewhere else. But yeah, and Beethoven 9, actually Beethoven 9 and Irini and I are going to be doing with New Orleans Louisiana Philharmonic Orchestra in the spring. So
nice. That'll be great.
Getting a little these are diners on
There you go.
So I'm kind of excited about that.
That's a good thing about the Beethoven 9 is that the singers are only in the last movement, and so it's it's good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think for the most part, at least for my voice category, I think that the majority of oratorio repertoire keeps the voice so fresh and you've got to keep it moving, keep it agile. I mean, that was one of the things that I really loved about this Messiah, getting back to it, was we did the mezzo sang But Who May Abide and Refiner's Fire, but I got to sing the Thus Saith the Lord, which has a little bit of that coloratura, and then For Behold, People That Walked in Darkness, was fine, super legato, bassy kind of stuff, but I really enjoy singing that.
Yeah.
And then Why Do the Nations, which was a lot of that, triplet coloratura in the second half, and then we did ABA for Trumpet Shall Sound. So that was a lot of high tessitura, moving, some of it faster than others, but I gotta say it keeps you technically in check. There's no way to kind of fake your way through that without not sounding so good.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm just listening to you say that. I'm like, I think the tenor should have cut his check in half and given you half of his.
Yeah, right. It's like, come on, dude. Come on. You only sang like 2 seconds. He was such a great guy.
Oh,
Such a great guy and beautiful singer.
Wonderful.
Really. All 4 of those. I mean, well, let's say the other 3 solos. I'm not going to talk about myself. I think I did well, but
yes.
the other 3 were really, really beautiful people, wonderful singers, and when it all lines up like that, it's really cool.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. So anything else, like when you get back home from a gig, like sometimes it gets a little tricky, I think, because and you and I have talked about this before. Everybody, like, and you alluded to it earlier, right? Everybody's just kind of going along and doing their thing. And then they've got, dad comes back or husband comes back. And all of a sudden it's like, mom's been kind of running the ship there.
Yeah.
I mean, let's face it, mom kind of runs the ship most of the time.
She always runs the ship. Yeah, right.
But at least there's a somebody.
Oh yeah,
guy there who's like, well, I want to say something. Actually,
I would say this, like if somebody's going out on their first venture of this, and they're like, oh, what's it going to be like? There's going to be a little ripple, right? There's always a little ripple when you land back in town, and again, it's kind of like part of the reason is because you're used to doing your own thing because you've been on your own for the last however many days.
All right.
And then she has been, or they have been needing support and are probably frustrated. And now you're back. And so then, okay, here's all the things I need you to do. And so there's that little bit of like, oof, okay, I will do that. And over time, you learn to just kind of like realize that you've had a very, very beautiful time to yourself where you've gotten to be artistically fulfilled and had your DoorDash deliveries and you're walking around having whatever and so now you're back in real life land and you're like, okay, no problem, I'll run those errands. Yep, absolutely. I'll go pick that up. I'll go to the store. I'll do the whatever it is that needs to get done. I mean, at least for me personally, that's what I have found out that works the best is just be like, yep, anything you need, whatever, I got you, no problem.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. And actually, I don't know if this happens to you, but it probably not tonight because you had to get up so early. But very often, when the first night that I get home, even if my flight is late, I'm like so happy to be home. Like I can't even go to sleep because I'm just like, I just want to sit out here and enjoy my backyard and my dog and and maybe a fire pit or something like that. But I love it. I remember one of the earliest memories that I had with when we got Ava out of the hospital, and then we went to New York for a butterfly, and my parents were coming there, and so Irene was there, so we had the baby, went to Carmine's, got this big takeout thing.
Yeah.
And like it just was so fun. Like I remember the night that I got in, I put them all home and Irene was exhausted, and so she and Ava stayed there, and I went out Christmas shopping. I was like, I'm going to Tiffany's, I'm going to here, I'm going to there. Like I went all out. I mean, Ava got like, one of those little baby brushes, like sterling silver baby brushes from Tiffany's, our first Christmas. I was like, whatever, let's go. I'm so happy to be home. I got my baby out of the hospital. Oh my God. But anyway, the point is it's still, especially I remember when I was coming back from Europe to the States, there was always that jet lag that was kind of like, okay, around 6, 7, 8 o'clock. You're like, I'm pretty tired.
I was just going to say, if you're coming from Europe, then there's always that jet lag to deal with, right?
But then you're like, hey, up at 5:36, you're like, I'm going to seize the day. I'm going to get everything done.
Yeah.
Nap, that'll be fine.
Totally.
So, totally. But yeah, no, I think it's fun. We're trying something a little different here. We just, we have our episodes that are a little bit more content heavy. And we just thought that it'd be fun for us to just kind of hang out and talk about experience as well, which, honestly, I feel like it's good. It's
that's what we do anyway.
It is what we do anyway. We just got the camera rolling. And so yeah, so you have anything else to say in wrapping up?
Well, let's just say this, we're talking about coming home, but I just had an interesting conversation. You know the young tenor named Angel Romero?
I know the name.
So he's over in Europe right now. I think he's in Italy. Maybe?
You guys work together, right? Didn't y'all work together?
Yeah, we did a concert together in Florida, in the Florida Keys of all places.
Oh, right.
It was in January a couple of years ago.
Jamaica. Ooh.
Exactly. I was like, I flew into Miami and then got a rental car, and they were like, "You want a convertible?" And I was like, yeah."
Yes.
So I got this convertible Mustang, which was so cool.
Yes.
And I remember we were staying in a little town called Marathon, which is kind of like halfway down from, let's say, Miami to like, let's say, Key West. It's not all,
Yeah.
it's like halfway. So we did a couple of rehearsals. I remember in Key Largo, and all I could think about was all the Jimmy Buffett songs and
Right.
all you know, because I'd never been down there before. But anyway,
Yeah.
it was like Samantha Hankey, Angel Romero, myself, and oh my gosh, who was the soprano? Oh, I'm terrible. I'd have to look it up. It was a few years ago. But anyway, we had a great time and became good friends. And so anyway, we've stayed in touch over the years. And he was telling me a little bit about going off and doing this Rodolfo, and he has two little ones, similar
Wow.
to the age difference, I think, maybe even closer than Ava and Anna. They're like maybe just a year apart.
Wow.
And so he's got his wife and the two very, very young ones. Like, I think his second child is only like maybe not even one.
Yeah.
And they're all over there with him right now.
Right.
And I was like, he was like, "Oh, I'm so tired." I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
because you go to rehearsal and you're working all day and then you want to come home and just rest. But it's like, you know. So it's tricky. It's tricky any way you cut it, right? Like whether you're used to the peace and quiet and then you come back home to the normal chaos that we all love as our normal life, or if you're taking that on the road with you. But I think it's definitely something to consider when you're starting out a career and as a singer and you're traveling, how to navigate that and what the best situation is going to be. And I think a lot of it is different for each person, but it's certainly trial by error and figuring out what does work best for you, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, those years, you would have to pay me double what I made to do them again. I'll put it to you that way.
When you had everyone there with you on the road.
Poof.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was great. Don't get me wrong. There were some wonderful parts, and we were able to be together, which is, being on the other side of that and not being able to be together so much right now, that is very tough.
Yeah.
But
well, we take things for granted, right?
Sure.
I mean, it's like we don't even think about it when it's happening, but then when you do realize what it's like to be separated,
yeah,
makes you think of it differently, I think.
Yeah, I mean, like, my personality maybe tends to be a kind of all or nothing kind of person, but this is something I wish was a little bit more balanced.
Yeah.
Right. Like it just was too much. And like, so much of that early health, childcare rather, falls on the mom, which, if you're a young mom and if you're a singer and you're a young mom, I just can only imagine how exhausting, it would have to be. Especially if you're singing really difficult repertoire, you know
Sure.
what I mean, like that. Yeah, when I did Butterflies and Bohèmes even to an extent, and Carmen's, I was kind of like, poof, this is a little bit like Vacation for me, as opposed to like Les Vêpres Siciliennes and Robert le Diable and all these other crazy,
right,
ridiculous Guillaume Tells and Damnation of Faust. I was just like, that stuff, I was dying, and I just was so stressed. And I go back and I listen to the recordings, and I was like, well, doesn't sound like I was dying, but I remember feeling
I remember how tired you were.
I just remember how tired I was, and a lot of that was because we were not, getting the kind of sleep that we would now. Where you just get to sleep through the night. I mean, imagine that. Like there were years.
Of course.
Because
it's a real thing. For future parents.
Right.
Kids don't sleep through the night.
Yeah, and if you can space them about 2 or 3 years, you do yourself a lot better than if you space them 16 months. I'll tell you that. And that wasn't the plan. That's just what happened.
Life happens, right?
Life happens. But just as soon as one would be getting out of formula and into solid food, the other one's still in the formula. Once one's getting out of diapers, the other one's still in diapers, and it just became like this cycle for years of, oh my God. We love you, Iglees. We love you. So anyways, but yeah, they were tough years. But it's possible, and you just have to kind of persevere and kind of, I think a lot of parents would say that they don't even know how they did it. You don't know that you can get by on such little sleep until you actually have to try and do it, because no one would do that to themselves on purpose.
Right? It's very true. The doctors tell you, it's like, you try to sleep when the baby sleeps.
Right.
Well, when the baby sleeps, that's the only time that you get to do anything. Right?
Anything. That's right.
So it is a very challenging but very rewarding period of time, and as you move forward, it becomes more and more and more rewarding. So anyway.
Awesome.
But yeah, well, this was a good chat, man. I'm glad to be back home, and glad that you're about winding down your semester at IU.
Yeah, I've got
for the fall.
I've got let's say 4 more days of teaching, and then the whole family's going to New York for 4 days, so we'll be there. Be doing some teaching there.
Very good.
And seeing the sights of New York at the Christmas time. So we're all looking forward to that, and then we'll be home.
Well, and speaking of Indiana University, did you happen to catch that game where we picked off Ohio State? Oh my gosh, that was such a great game the other night.
It was a great touchdown catch, and I feel bad. I wouldn't want to be that Ohio State kicker.
Oh my gosh. Oh, right. The guy that missed it from what was
22, 27, something like that.
Yeah. Oh.
I wouldn't want to be that guy.
Do you remember Adam Sandler's song, The Lonesome Kicker?
I don't remember it, but I'm sure it's on that tape somewhere.
Oh my God, it's so great. It's a whole song about being the field goal kicker that nobody wants to talk to because, you're either the winner or the... whatever.
That's hilarious.
All right, well,
awesome,
hey,
buddy. Listen, yeah.
Thanks for joining us again, and we will see you next week. Thanks for joining us on Between the Notes. Make sure you hit that subscribe button.
And join us next week for more behind-the-scenes stories, laughs, and operatic gold coming your way.